So some of those challenges of what it means to be a human, what it means to not feel enough, which I think is part of being human. I think it is part of being human. I don't think I'm the only person that feels that.
Do you feel it too then?
Do you feel it too then?
Yes, I was feeling particularly inadequate this morning.
So that's where we're starting our session today. And where is it again? Just got a very favourite little poem that I keep reading at the minute from Hafiz. I wish I could show you, when you are lonely or in darkness, the astonishing light of your own being. I wish I could show you, when you are lonely or in darkness, the astonishing light of your own being. Straight in there today. That's where we're going. So let's excuse me, clearing my throat. Let's allow those words to land. I'll repeat them again later in the session, but let's allow those words to land. Let's feel our bodies, feel our human selves right here, right now, just exactly as they are. All of our perfect imperfection, whether that's physical, maybe there are places which are holding on or tight or aching, whether it's in our heart, if our hearts are heavy or full of yearning, whether it's in our minds which are questioning and challenging ourselves, all of that, bringing it all here, right now, knowing that it's perfect just like that, perfectly imperfect. And let's reach out to the other perfectly imperfect humans who are here with us. If you can see them on the screen, or just reach out with hands and hearts to our virtual circle who's here today or in the future watching this video. Reaching out with hands and hearts and breath. Knowing that we're connected, we're linked by our very humanness, we're linked by our breath, linked by the fact that we're here right now on this planet. So let's say the Sufi invocation together. If you know it, please join with me. If you're not familiar with it, just keep breathing, connecting, reaching out. Towards the One, the perfection of love, harmony and beauty, the only being, united with all the illuminated souls who form the embodiment of the Master, the message, the mystery, the miracle, the Mother, the Spirit of guidance. And breathing, knowing that we are included. We are among the illuminated souls who embody all of that. That is our job description here, embodying the mystery, the miracle, the Mother, all of that. Message, Master, perfectly imperfect human beings. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. We begin in the knowledge of a loving, loving deity, loving unity, loving divinity. You're going to start, aren't you?
Yes. When you were reading that little bit of Hafiz out, I just thought this is one of the great things about the Dances of Universal Peace, is that they help to show me the astonishing light of my own being when I can't find it any other way. So that's...
And if any of you were feeling really upbeat and cheerful this morning, that's good too. Just to say.
Echad Yachid Yochad.
Echad Yachid Yochad.
This is Hebrew. And let's say that again. Echad Yachid Yochad.
Echad Yachid Yochad.
Echad
Echad
Yachid
Yachid
Yochad.
Yochad.
Echad Yachid
Echad Yachid
Yochad.
Yochad.
Echad Yachid Yochad.
Echad Yachid Yochad.
And it means the one,
The one,
every single one,
every single one,
each one joined
each one joined
and united in the one.
and united in the one.
And we're going to sing those words as well. The one, every single one,
The one, every single one,
each one joined
each one joined
and united in the one.
and united in the one.
The one, every single one.
Get on with it.
Are you getting impatient?
Yeah.
Right. Echad Yachid Yochad. Echad Yachid Yochad.
Echad Yachid Yochad. Echad Yachid Yochad.
Listen, the one, every single one, each one joined and united in the one.
The one, every single one, each one joined and united in the one.
Back to the beginning.
Echad Yachid Yochad. Echad Yachid Yochad. Echad Yachid Yochad. Echad Yachid Yochad. The one, every single one, each one joined and united in the one. The one, every single one, each one joined and united in the one.
Is everybody happy with the words? Lots of nodding, excellent. Okay, well, those of you who wish could stand up, and we're going to do some movements, slightly adapted. So we are keeping those knees nice and bendy, nice and soft, and you think it's to the left first.
You're leading the stance.
Okay. So we're bowing. Echad Yachid Yochad. Echad Yachid Yochad. So we on Echad bowing to the right, Yachid back, Yochad. So it's bow to the right, back on the knees, bow to the left, back on the knees, and just keep doing that for the Hebrew bit. Okay. Let's do that together. Echad Yachid Yochad. Echad Yachid Yochad. Again. Echad Yachid Yochad. Echad Yachid Yochad. And and then on the one we're going to do a grapevine to the right. If you're not sure what a grapevine is, I think perhaps I'm not going to try and explain it now over Zoom, but we step to the right, then left in front, right, left behind, anyway, and then let's just do it, shall we? back a bit, okay. The one, every single one, each one joined and united in the one. And the best thing about this one is when you get to the one, you bring the left foot together with the right and give it a little stamp. The one. And then when we're going the other, we'll just do the same thing going to the left. And again, when we get to the one at the end, we bring the right foot in like that and little stamp. So let's go to the left. The one, every single one, each one joined and united in the one. Great. Let's go for it. C minor. So Echad Yachid Yochad. 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 One. To the right. One. Every single one. Each one joined and united in the one. To the left. One. Every single one. Each one joined and united in the one. Echad. Echad Yachid Yochad. Echad Yachid Yochad. Echad Yachid Yochad. Echad Yachid Yochad. The one, every single one, each one joined and united in the one. The one, every single one, each one joined and united in the one. Just the low voices. Echad Yachid Yochad. Echad Yachid Yochad. Echad Yachid Yochad. Echad Yachid Yochad. Together. The one, every single one, each one joined and united in the one. The one, every single one, each one joined and united. High voices. Echad Yachid Yochad. Echad Yachid Yochad. Echad Yachid Yochad. Echad Yachid Together. The one, every single one, each one joined and united in the one. The one, every single one, each one joined and united in the one. Just breathing the words. just noticing your breath, noticing how it may have changed in the course of that dance, noticing your energy, what it's doing now. The one, every single one, each one of us joined and united in the one. Amen.
Amen. And that's really the point is, you know, we sing a lot about unity and about the one, and we're all one, and, you know, everything's all unified. You know, what does that actually mean? What it actually means is that the divine shows up in each one of us, and who are we not to shine? Who are we not to? You know, because our nature is the same as the nature of the Holy One, that there is no difference. So, and that doesn't mean we have to be anything else. That means we just already are that. So it's not like, you know, because I think that can turn into a stick to beat ourselves with as well if we're not careful. Oh, you know, I'm not being divine enough. Well, you are being divine enough. Because you can't help it. It's just the way it is. Dear ones, I wish I could show you when you are lonely or in darkness the astonishing light of your own being. That divine light, the one light. The illuminated souls who embody that light. There are some words in Arabic. Wa illahuna wa illahukun wahidun. Your God and my God are the same God. They're one. It's all just fingers pointing at the moon. Somebody I know a little bit and admire a lot wrote recently on Facebook, you know, we call the divine all these different names. As soon as we name it, it's not that. We call it God, Allah, Ram, Jesus, Buddha. You know, yes, 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 and no, not that. Not just that. We could just as well call it Madhu, Kate, Stuart, Michael. Any one of us. All of those names.
I was just thinking again about the astonishing light of your own being and how it's easier to see it in others.
Yeah.
So when I look at the screen, I look around and think, oh yes, I can see your astonishing light.
Yeah, but I haven't got that. Yes. Yeah. Actually, that ties in very nicely with the next part of this dance I'm moving on to, which has these two phrases very closely connected to the Hebrew names we've just been saying, but in Arabic, Ya Wahid, Ya Ahad, Ya Wahid, Ya Ahad. And they're both ways of saying the one. Just like we had, you know, the one, every single one, each one joined and united in the one. So these ways of saying the one is like, I am in the heart of God. I am in the heart of the one. And God is in my heart. For God, substitute any other word. And those things are both true at the same time, which is one of those wonderful kind of Zen koan paradoxes which it's impossible to grasp really with the mind, but maybe you can feel it, how all of infinite reality can be in my heart just at the same time as that I am held in the heart of the infinite reality. Ya Wahid, Ya Ahad, Allah. So let's say those words. Ya Wahid,
Ya Wahid,
Ya Ahad,
Ya Ahad,
Allah.
Allah.
Wa illahuna,
Wa ilahuna,
your God. Wa illahukun,
wa ilahukun,
and my God. Wahidun,
wahidun.
and that wahid, that is the kind of one which means we're one together. So your God and my God, they're all the same. We give them different names, but each of those names is a finger pointing at the moon, trying to identify what can't be identified. Wa illahuna wa illahukun wahidun.
Wa ilahuna, wa ilahukun, wahidun.
Ya Wahid,
Ya Wahid,
Ya Ahad,
Ya Ahad,
Allah.
Allah.
We might bring in at the end of it a little bit of zikr. La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. So let's try it with some. Wa ilahuna wa ilahukum wahidun. Wahidun. Wa ilahuna wa ilahukum wahidun. Wahidun. Ya Wahid, Ya Ahad, Ya Wahid, Ya Ahad, Allah, Allah. Ya Wahid, Ya Ahad, Ya Wahid, Ya Ahad, Allah, Allah. Wa ilahuna wa ilahukum wahidun. Wahidun. Wa ilahuna wa ilahukum wahidun. Wahidun. Ya Wahid, Ya Ahad, Ya Wahid, Ya Ahad, Allah, Allah. Ya Wahid, Ya Ahad, Ya Wahid, Ya Ahad, Allah, Allah. How are we doing with the words? Everybody okay?
How's the pitch?
I think it's okay. Yeah. I think maybe I'll just say them one more time. Wa illahuna wa illahukun.
Wa ilahuna, wa
Illahukun.
yeah.
I think I better say them again. Wa illahuna
Wa ilahuna,
wa illahukun
wa ilahukun,
wahidun.
wahidun.
Your God and my God are the same God. They're one. Ya Wahid, Ya Ahad, Allah.
Ya Wahid, Ya Ahad, Allah.
Wonderful. So yeah, we'll do some movements if you want to. So can I just so we're going to step in 4 steps towards the screen, towards each other, and so it goes like this. Wa illahuna wa illahukun wahidun. Wahidun. So that's a bow to the right. Again, these soft bouncy knees, and a bow to the left. soft bouncy knees, and then we're going to step out and do the same thing in reverse. So wa ilahuna wa ilahukun wahidun, to the right and to the left. Let's try that once again. Wa ilahuna wa ilahukun wahidun wahidun. Wa ilahuna wa ilahukun wahidun wahidun. And now we do this shape of the crescent with our heart as we step to the right, followed by a bow. So what we're doing here is making this container, that our heart being a container for all of divine unity, and then dropping into that container, being held in the heart of the one. So it looks like this. Ya Wahid, Ya Ahad, Ya Wahid, Ya Ahad. And now these bows again. Allah, Allah, Ya Wahid, Ya Ahad, Ya Wahid, Ya Ahad, Allah, Allah. There we go, back to the beginning. That's the whole thing. So we might need to make some adjustments to make sure we don't go way off screen to the right, but we can just allow that to happen. So, Wa ilahuna wa ilahukum wahidun wahidun. Wa ilahuna wa ilahukum wahidun wahidun. Ya Wahid, Ya Ahad, Ya Wahid, Ya Ahad, Allah, Allah. ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, Allah, Allah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, Allah, Allah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, Allah, Allah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, Allah, Allah. Our sense of separation is so great that we can feel two kinds of unity, the unity which is in our hearts and the unity where we are held in the heart of all that is. And the reality is, the ultimate reality is, it's all one. La ilaha illallah, no separation. No separation. Ameen, ameen. Perhaps we'll read you a couple more bits of poetry. Do you want to read the Mary Oliver after this?
Thinking of reading that before the Satnarayan.
Yeah, well, we could do that then
Yeah.
next. Yeah, that's fine. So I was thinking of the desiderata, which when I was growing up in hippie households in the 70s was on every bathroom wall of all my mother's friends. So but there's a lot of beauty and wisdom in there, and so I'm not going to read the whole thing, but just this part. Nurture strength of spirit to shield you in sudden misfortune, but do not distress yourself with dark imaginings. Many fears are born of fatigue and loneliness. Beyond a wholesome discipline, be gentle with yourself. And this is the part I really wanted to read. You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. And whether or not it is clear to you, no doubt, the universe is unfolding as it should. You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. That's it, really.
Very nice.
But it's interesting how that part stayed with me. I had to look up the rest of it, but that's what I remember from all those bathroom walls.
And Jelani also remembered another poem which she reminded me of, I'm very grateful for, which was shared with me about 10 years ago. Some of you may know it. It's by Mary Oliver. It's called Wild Geese. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clean blue air, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over, announcing your place in the family of things.
Just before we go on, I just want to name, really, in all of this, all of the things that are going on that we can't escape being aware of them. You know, there's so much that's difficult to deal with at the moment. You know, we're being faced with, in the UK, with more restrictions due to the pandemic, and you know that we're aware of these devastating fires on the west coast of America. You know, so many. You know, each one of us could name a different, you know, traumatic thing which is happening right now. So, how then shall we be? And I think this is, you know, what we hope to share together. It's not that we've particularly got, you know, any more answers than any of you have, but opening this space, sharing this space, so that we're not alone with this, and that we feel our place in it, just like Mary Oliver says in that poem.
Yes. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over, announcing your place in the family of things.
You have a right. Go on.
I also like the line, you only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves.
Because we're not separate from this nature. You know, we've set ourselves apart. We've decided that human beings are somehow different and separate. Just another animal, an animal with consciousness, part of this whole universe of being. Divine as well, just like everything else.
Shall I do Satnarayan then?
Yes, please.
Okay. So, I think I'll just start with the mantra. Satnarayan Wahe Guru.
Satnarayan Wahe Guru.
Hare Narayan Satnam.
Hare Narayan Satnam.
Satnarayan Wahe Guru. Hare Narayan Satnam.
Satnarayan Wahe Guru. Hare Narayan Satnam.
And then we'll repeat Satnam.
Satnam.
Satnam. Satnam. Satnam. Truth is the name of unity, is the name of the one, of God. Hare Narayan Satnam. True sustainer, indescribable wisdom. Truth is the name of the Holy One. Satnarayan Wahe Guru. Hare Narayan Satnam. Satnarayan Wahe Guru. Hare Narayan Satnam. The melody goes up. Satnarayan Wahe Guru. Hare Narayan Satnam. Satnarayan Wahe Guru. Hare Narayan Satnam. And then every so often I'll call out Satnam, and we'll just sing Satnam, 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 Satnam. Satnam, Satnam.
Satanam, 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 Satanam.
Harinarayan. Satnarayan.
Waheguru. Harinarayan, Satanam.
Just ignore me. Satnarayan. Waheguru.
Harinarayan, Satanam.
Satnarayan.
Waheguru. Harinarayan, Satanam. Satnarayan, Waheguru. Harinarayan, Satanam.
Great. Is that okay with everybody? So what we're doing here, and I'm going to be speeding up the dance gradually, so we'll start a bit slower and then build the energy up, is that whilst attuning through the dance, through the mantra to the ecstasy of unity with the One, the truth, we are also keeping in mind our smaller self, our personality, which we need, but is in order to function as a human being in relationship to others and on this planet. But our personality has its own problems, as we know, with fears and anger and hurt and trauma, all these difficulties. And it's trying to keep, not kind of push that away and try and get rid of it because we can't, but to keep it in its place and try and attune to the greater reality whilst holding our smaller selves in our hearts. And so we do this movement where we are stepping, and we're just stepping gently with our other foot, just tapping, and we can imagine that we're tapping, just gently tapping on our smaller self, gently and lovingly, but keeping it down there so that it's not overwhelming us. So we go.
There's something about doing it with great compassion and love, but experiencing our greater selves as being what's actually in the driving seat.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So we step before we sing. So we go. Satnarayan Waheguru Harinarayan Satanam. Step. Satnarayan Waheguru Harinarayan Satanam. Lifting our arms in between. Satnarayan Waheguru Harinarayan Satanam. Satnarayan Waheguru Harinarayan Satanam. Now on Satnam, when we just sing Satnam, 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 we are going to be rowing, doing this rowing movement to the right. So we step forward with the right, bringing our arms up in circles if we're rowing, and then step back on the left. And we're rowing together on the ocean of life, on the ocean of love, the ocean of truth. Satanam, 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 Satanam. So step forward on the nam. Satanam, Satanam. Satanam, 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 Satanam. Satanam, Satanam, Satanam. Great. Let's go for it. So we step on that first chord. Satnarayan Waheguru Harinarayan Satanam. Satnarayan Waheguru Harinarayan Satanam. Satnarayan Waheguru Harinarayan Satanam. Satnarayan Waheguru Satanam, 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 Satnaraya, Satnarayan Waheguru, Hare Narayan Satanam, 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 Satanam. One more time. Satanam, 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 Satanam. Satnarayan, Satnarayan Waheguru, Hare Narayan Satanam, 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 Satnarayan Waheguru, Hare Narayan 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 Satanam, 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 Satanam. On the breath. Satnam, Satanam, 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 Satnarayan Waheguru, Hare Narayan 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 Satanam. true sustainer, indescribable wisdom. Truth is the name of unity. Om Hari Om. Om Hari Om.
Om Hari Om. I wish I could show you, when you are lonely or in darkness, the astonishing light of your own being.
I was just reminded at the end of that, and the end of many dances, of something that one of our teachers, Martine Mize, who some of you know, once said about the dances and what happens at the end. And I just want to read it to you. If I can just find it. That space that opens up when we finish singing the sacred phrase, when we finish moving. He said, and what we found about the dances, he's talking, where they really speak to us is at the end of the dance, when all this activity that we've been engaged in, and chanting the sacred names and adding movement to it and being very active, comes to a halt. And just for that moment, there's an opportunity to feel the interconnectedness of everyone in the circle. It gets quiet for just a moment. And one of my teachers, Joe Miller, used to point to this moment all the time. He would say, that's it. Because for just a little while, it's almost like you can see between the thoughts, and you feel everybody there with you. I'll just say that line again, because for just a little while, it's almost like you can see between the thoughts and you feel everybody there with you. And even though we're here on Zoom, all in different places, this is what I experience when we're sharing practices together, and often at the end of a dance.
Joe Miller used to say, that's it, that moment, that atmosphere. And he'd say, that hangs around in the room after we've been doing this, and somebody else might come along and bump into it and fall awake. So I'm wondering about, I think I'm just going to pause the recording for a moment.
There we are.
So another reminder of our infinite nature. Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
So, this is really like what some of us were saying just now on the sharing. It's our small selves that are going through all these challenges, and it's hard. It hurts, it's difficult. We can feel like we're falling apart. And at the same time, this is also true. This is what we can bring to these challenges, is our infinite nature, our Shiva nature, this creator and destroyer of all it is, the one who dances whatever's happening. So let's, the movements that go with this dance, I feel, I experience them as helping me to connect with that infinite nature. So let's just have a try with those. Modified for the Zoom, so normally we'd be facing a partner, but let's bow to ourselves, this namaste. Honoring all of the struggle of the small self, and then opening to the infinite nature. And then turning in this infinity in which we live and move and have our being, which is our true nature. Shiva. And again, bowing to the struggles of the small self. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. Jai Shiva. So let's just close with a bit of zikr. Would you like to play the guitar? La ilaha illallah, Ishq Allah, Ma'bud Allah. So again, affirming that all separation is illusion. We feel so alone in our small selves. We feel so isolated and like we have to do it all by ourselves. And you know, some of that is physically true right now, and yet the greater reality is that we are all connected. This connection here through the screen, it is real. It's an energetic connection. It's a vibrational connection. It reminds us of how we are connected, we are united, and it's something we can call on when we move on with the rest of our day, or in future days to come. We can call on this circle here for strength, for companionship. And we can call on each other literally by getting in touch, you know, that's also okay. And just tuning in can help too. So, La ilaha illallah, Ishq Allah, Ma'bud lillah. God is love, lover and beloved. La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. Ishq Allah, Ma'bud lillah. Ishq Allah, Ma'bud lillah. La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. Ishq Allah, Ma'bud lillah. Ishq Allah, Ma'bud lillah. So we begin leaning to the left with our heart on that there's a chord in the guitar, but we're not singing, so it goes left, la, and back, and to the right, and back. Let's sing. La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. And now we're going to make a crescent with our heart from left to right. Take a step if you want to at the same time, and then bowing, dropping into the heart space, dropping into the heart of the one, the heart of love. God is love, lover and beloved. Whenever we feel love, the divine is present. Whenever we feel the divine, the love is present. So Ishq Allah, Ma'bud lillah. Ishq Allah, Ma'bud lillah. La ilaha illallah. La sing a who together, bringing everything back into the unity of the breath. Let's not forget the power of that breath of unity. When we feel separate from one another or when we feel helpless, the power of sending our loving intention on that breath of unity, sometimes called the power of prayer. Let's practice it one more time together, and then we could return to it as a practice on our own if we choose. So one more who together, sending loving intention on the breath. We can visualize the color of the breath, the quality of the breath. Visualize it traveling to where it's needed, to where we want it to go, to whoever needs help. It could be a part of ourselves, it could be a person, a place, a situation. Let's do that now. Let's focus all of the power of our loving intention and send it with a final who. So, beloveds, thank you. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for your, your trust in us, coming and opening your hearts to us. I really value and appreciate that. Thank you for those of you who've been able to contribute again financially to us. Really, thanks from the bottom of our hearts. That's very helpful when you can, but know that if it's not possible for you, you're still so welcome here. Thank you for your loving connections, and let's close together with may all beings be well, may all beings be happy. Got any final comments?
Thank you. Thank you.
May